What's up everybody, Mikey Revolt from Lowbrow Customs here. I'm in my own personal garage with my 2017 Dyna Lowrider S. I'm here to show you today how easy it is to install Lowbrow Customs' new Moto Luggage Racks. It's gonna be a lot of fun, it's super simple and easy, so let's go. Before we get going on the install, I'd love to talk to you guys a little bit about the rack itself. These are designed for 2006 all the way up to 2017 Dynas. We also offer options for early Sportsters 94 to 03 and late Sportsters 04 all the way up to 2022. These are manufactured right here in Ohio, consisting of a three-piece construction, gussets on the back for a real beefy design. Whatever you throw on this bad boy, it's gonna hold it. We also offer multiple hole locations so that you can strap different kinds of bungee cords and or cargo nets, whatever tickles your fancy. In my hands, I have a right side rack. We're going to install that on my Dyna today. If you purchased a left side rack, which we also offer, the installation is going to be exactly the same. These were designed also in mind to work very well with the Gasbox sissy bars. They mount in the exact same locations. In the kit will come additional hardware. Because you're adding a thickness of material from the rack to your strut, it's gonna need a little bit longer bolts. So we suggest using these with some blue Loctite. One last thing to mention before we get going on the install, if you have stock turn signals, you're going to have to remove those to install this Moto rack. They do not work with stock turn signals at all. There's just not enough room or clearance there. But what we did when we designed this also was put an additional hole mount here for you if you wanted to run aftermarket, say like those little baby Bullet Boys or a different kind of aftermarket turn signals. One is for the actual turn signal. The little one is to mount the wires with, say, like a zip tie so they're not hanging and dangling. And then the big through hole, which will go into your fender and go all the way back to your tail light and plug into the board. Another solution if you're getting rid of your turn signals is getting an integrated tail light that has turn signals in it. This is what I have on my Dyna. So there's different options. We gave you a couple different ones on the rack, but then there are also other ones out there in the market. Let's get going on this install. I've been talking too long.
Today, Junior?
All right, now for the fun part, the installation of the Moto rack. I have two bolts on here that I'm needing to remove. I do have a saddlebag rack. I'm gonna put the bolts and the saddlebag rack on my shelf over there and keep them, say if I ever want to switch back to my saddlebags. It makes it really easy to interchange from the Moto rack to the saddlebags with just two bolts. So I'm going to remove those now and yeah, see you in a second. This front bolt is actually held on by an inner fender rack. You can reuse those with the new Moto rack from Lowbrow. So we just supply the two bolts, but your nuts and whatnot, or the inner rack, you want to reuse, okay? As you can see, the inner rack's starting to come down. They made these inner racks so that it would hold like your turn signal wires from hitting your tire. But they also make for useful mounts. All right, so I'm gonna pull off, there we go, pull that off. And like I said, I'm gonna put that on my shelf and save it for later.
Save that guy for later.
Now that we have the saddlebag rack off of the bike, we are going to use the supplied hardware, which there are two bolts and also a 1/4 inch spacer. You ask, what is that 1/4 inch spacer for? Well, with Dynas, it actually is a little bit of a taper from the front to the back. So to make up the difference, you need that 1/4 inch spacer on the rear because the Moto rack itself is not going to be tapered. It is flat on the back. Front bolt will go in the front. Back bolt, they're the same size. You're gonna put in the top hole, not the small hole. That one is for the turn signals. And then you're going to introduce the 1/4 inch spacer on here, just like so. And then we're going to introduce the rack to the motorcycle, lining up your holes. Because you have the inner fender mount already on, you wanna start that front one. Don't tighten that front one all the way just yet. You want to make sure you get the back one started. I have my nut from the original saddlebag rack.
Better use my strong hand.
All right, guys, super simple install as promised, just 2 bolts, really easy. That thing is mounted and secure. Last thing you want to do before going on the open road is you want to check your tire clearance to the bolts. If your bolt is protruding past the nut on the inside of the fender, just by feeling in there, I can tell that it's not. But if it was, I'd want to take this bolt back out, add a couple washers, and then put it back on. You put the washers on the outside of the bracket. In addition, if you're looking to add aftermarket turn signals like we talked about earlier, you can see here the mounting location on the bottom. There is a smaller hole that you can zip tie wires to so they're not dangling, and then a through hole that goes all the way through to the fender. That way you can route your wiring all the way back to the taillight where it plugs in. That's it, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful and informative. That right side motor rack was an easy install, and man, that ain't going nowhere. I'm actually really excited to see what I can stack on that thing when I take it on the open road. I also have a left side motor rack in my hand right now. I was thinking about installing it on the other side just to add a little symmetry to the bike. I really think it would look really great and make it look a little more tough. The other option I have is Lowbrow Custom's new skateboard rack. We made these so you can carry your skateboard anywhere you want. I actually might do an install video next on this for you. So if you want to click the link above, you can watch that install as well on this Dyna. Lastly, if you want to grab yourself a set of these moto racks or the skateboard rack or one of each, the possibilities are endless. Lowbrowcustoms.com. They'll come in the mail in a few days. You'll get them, you put them in your garage, you put them on your bike with your buddy, and then there's some guy outside, he's walking his dog, and he looks over in your garage and he goes, hey man, those are some nice racks. And you can go, thanks man, I got them from lowbrowcustoms.com. And then you get on your bike and you do like a burnout or like a wheelie if you're really good, and then like you laugh the whole way because you're way cooler than he is walking his dog. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore, guys. Lowbrowcustoms.com. Get yourself some of these cool racks. All right, I'm out of here. See ya. Lowbrowcustoms.com.